5 o'clock. We're starting the April 24th Town Council Board of Trustees meeting. We're going to start off with the call to order regular meeting at 5 p.m. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, nation under God, liberty. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, state under God, indivisible.
You lose control of your flag.
Someone moved it. All right. We closed out previous executive session at 4:54. We'll probably go back later. Let's go to D, citizen parent comments. Are there any?
Mr. Custer signed up to speak online.
Is Mr. Custer here? I did not see him. All right. Items of community interest. John, come on down. Lovely and talented Mr. Sasser.
Indeed, I am. At least the first part. So good evening, Mayor and Council. We have a very busy few weeks here ahead of us, not just with the town, but also with the Academy as well. So let's get right to it. With coming up this Saturday, we have Gallery Night on the 29th at 6 p.m. at the Circle T Ranch. I know you guys have gotten your RSVPs in, so I appreciate that. So that should be a great event, obviously, for the Academy, and a great opportunity to come out there and have a lot of fun as well for a great cause. We have our next Coffee and Conversation on Tuesday, May 2nd at 8 a.m. at Sip Stir Coffee. Our next Planning and Zoning meeting is going to be that same day, May 2nd at 5 p.m. We also have a chamber luncheon on May 10th. That's a Wednesday. I've also sent you guys some invites on that as well, so thanks for your RSVPs. That's going to be at the Texas Motor Speedway, and it's a very special guest. Our own Dr. John Wilson is going to be speaking there, so that's going to be very exciting on our education forum. So we're excited to get out there and support him for that forum. We also have our next town council meeting. After this will be Monday, May 12th at 4 p.m. That's where we're going to have the swearing in of Mr. Sansone. The full town council meeting after that will be on the 22nd at 4 p.m. Westlake Academy graduation, that's going to be on May 27th at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Hearst Convention Center. That, of course, there's going to be a VIP ceremony as well for the valedictorian, salutatorian, their families as well, for you guys who got those invites as well. So, again, that should be a great, a lot of fun, some very exciting success stories there from this graduating class of 2023. Town Hall Municipal Court will be closed on Memorial Day. That's May 29th. Also, some additional items that I wanted to bring up. Our spring concerts wrapped up. We had two of them on the 6th and the 20th. Our latest one was this past Thursday. We had about 80 people, which is very significant because there was a threat of weather all day long. And we literally were at the very last minute watching the weather closely, rolling up our sleeves a la Pete Delkus and making sure that we were going to see whether we were going to cancel it or not. We're glad we didn't, because we had a whole bunch of people there, and the band was great, so we really appreciate the turnout. We'll most certainly have a couple of fall concerts coming up, so we'll get right to planning to that. No rest there, so we'll get more information for you guys there. Banana Bonanza was this past Saturday, the HOC, so we heard great things about that, where they had all kinds of fun stuff going on with the rides, petting zoo, balloons, snow cones, face paint, that kind of thing. So great, and I'm sure they'll talk about that a little bit later. Prom was also a gigantic success. It was the first major event over here at Entrada. We heard great things about that, kind of the red carpet Hollywood. The kids absolutely loved it, heard a lot of positive things, so congrats to Mr. Beatty and Entrada for hosting that. Events coming up in May specific to Westlake Academy. We've got MIP Awards, a baccalaureate, junior and senior award ceremony, senior banquet, bricklaying, senior clap out, and the presentation of the chords. So I'll send you guys some information about that if you guys would like to attend. It's always a ton of fun, and we're probably going to shoot a lot of video, a lot of pictures, because I know there's a lot of grandparents who would love to see those types of ceremonies, and maybe we'll be out of town and won't be able to attend. So those are your items of community interest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll move on to F, reports. Are there any reports you guys want to see, hear about? All of them it is. Let's start off with the HOC. Mary Beth, come on down.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me. My name is Mary Beth Ray. I am currently the Speaker of the House for the House of Commons at Westlake Academy. At Westlake Academy, we really strive to build community at our school. We are community builders, and our school is unique. Not all parents are Westlake residents. Therefore, it is important that we have a strong PTA presence on campus, building those relationships and bridging those gaps in order to better serve teachers, staff, and the community. Our board of directors consists of 12 voting members, 11 this year because we did not have a historian, and we also have 16 community chairs, or committee chairs, sorry. Am I supposed to be, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. So those are our directors, as you can see, and those are our committee chairs. The HSE coordinates many fundraisers throughout the year. We have a spirit shop. We also have an online spirit shop. We have a resale clothing store, Monster Mash, Bandana Bonanza. We also did a 100X fundraiser this year. We also collect dues at back to school nights, their membership dues, and we also have private donations. Our mission is basically to serve and support Westlake community by fostering a first-class education for all Westlake Academy students. These are some ways that you can connect with us: our weekly emails, our monthly board meeting, which we only have one left for the year, and it's going to be at Meet You Anywhere Barbecue. So if you want to join, please join. You can visit our website at wa-hoc.org and our Facebook page. So these are the WAHOC events for the fall 2022. Let me go through them for you. So we did have a kindergarten play date, and that's basically so we can welcome all the kindergartners. The new parents especially love this event, so they can have that one-on-one FaceTime with the teachers and the staff. We also do a back to school for PYP and MYP. This is to support the school and answer any questions, helping new parents basically find their way around the school and help them in any way possible. The teachers and staff also have a back-to-school luncheon, and we provide a gift card during this luncheon, and we also have the teacher appreciation team help with this. We have a teacher, Tears and Cheers, which is the first day of school, and this helps kindergarten students really get relaxed with the school and helps them just have an idea of what's going on and gets to meet with the staff and things like that, and we answer any questions that they might have. We also have a new family breakfast, and we invite all new families to meet the affiliates and the staff. We have a PYP and MYP coffee morning, and that's set up to tackle necessary topics, allowing parents to ask any questions and stay informed. We also have Grandparents' Day, and that's a supporting role that we have. We do not put on Grandparents' Day, but we do support them in providing all the decorations. We do provide a lunch for them and any support that the staff may have. We also do Spirit Shop, our resale clothing events, the PYP coffee and NYP coffee mornings, like I said, and the Teacher and Staff Appreciation Holiday Party at HG Supply. So our fundraising is through the Spirit Shop and also through the resale shop that we do. We also have an online Spirit Shop, which is actually closing. So hopefully next year we will restart that again and have some exciting new volunteers to help with that. We have many fundraising events, and the grocery store programs, I'm not sure if we did any of those this year. I don't know. Adrian, maybe you can tell me if we did. So Amazon Smile is no longer going to be a fundraising program for us, unfortunately. I'm not sure how many people participated. that anyway. And we also take membership dues.
What are
They're $25. Yeah, and we usually take those at back to school nights.
Can you just explain on the dues? How does that work? Who is requested to pay that? Is that for any family who wants to participate?
So really,
the
any
year?
family is a member of our organization. It's just we request the $25 because of all of the events that we put on throughout the year. So it's $25 that goes towards all the community events that we put on. I can kind of go through that with you a little bit more if you'd like. But it's not only are they fundraisers, but we also put on many fun community events like teacher appreciation, back to school nights, Tears and Cheers, New Family Breakfast, PYP. I mean, all of these cost money. And so we just ask everybody to donate the $25. They don't have to be a member, but we appreciate their donation.
Do we get financial updates for the HOC?
No, I don't think we've ever received.
Do you produce financial updates for the town?
We
or
do not, but we
Okay.
could if you would like.
Got it. What would be the typical annual budget of HOC?
So the budget is offhand. I could not tell you the exact. I mean, it's quite a large budget that we have.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I left my financial statement over there, but that's okay. We have a budget that we use every single year, and we stick to that budget. And there are quite a few members that keep us to that budget every year. So, like I was saying, there's 12 voting members. We had 11 this year, and there's 16 committee chairs. So it's a big group. It's like not like one person can go off the rails and just spend whatever they want.
Right.
Anytime we spend any money, it goes through a serious vote with all of us. So,
And then who would keep the books and records, for example?
so the treasurer, we have a treasurer, yeah.
So internally, you'll keep a list of all of the revenue takings, expenditures during the year.
Yes, we have all of that,
Got
yes.
it. And then do you typically retain earnings at the end, or do you usually spend what you raise on it?
So it is 100% volunteer. Okay, so our organization is all built on volunteers. So I'm the speaker this year. So previously we had another speaker. The year before that we had another speaker. So you can see that what I took on this year is not necessarily what was done last year. So if they had money left over from last year, I will take that on, and we will try to spend that, and that's spent through different grants that we take in. So let's say you were a teacher or a staff member, you could sign up for a grant and we could spend, I can tell you all the grants we've done. So there might be some money left over.
Right, okay.
But-
But the goal is generally to expend what you're raising.
It is, but to be honest with you, it's actually important that we have a little bit of money that we take on from year to year, because if we didn't do that, because it's 100% volunteer, so I won't be here next year, right? So we have a new speaker taking over. If we didn't have that, you have a totally new set of individuals taking on, doing the Monster Mash, doing the Bandana Bonanza, doing the fundraiser. So you have to have some padding in there in order for this organization to continue.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah, so if we have a little bit of extra money going through, it's okay, because I feel that, let's say next year, our social director who's doing Bandana Bonanza, doing Monster Mash, wasn't able to raise as much money, which is fine. You know, people have different strengths and abilities. But we would have that money to be able to move the PTA through
Right.
for the further years going
Right.
forward.
And Casey, sorry to call on you. There's no affiliation per se to the town. Is that correct? It's not a component, right? So got it.
But anyway, first, thank you. I know the mayor and I went to one of the meetings early on after we got elected, and it was my first indoctrination with you guys, but thank you for everything you do.
Well, thank you for coming to our meeting.
We'll come as much as you want us there, or at least I will. Is there anybody, so I'm trying to figure out how the affiliates work. Who owns HOC? Is it the school?
So HOC is what I gather, is an independent entity of the school. It is a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
How we make money is through the Spirit Shop. We
Got it.
make money from our events, some of the fundraising events. So not all the events are fundraisers. Some are community building.
Do you have an agreement with the school? So we're just trying to figure out
Correct.
how these affiliates work.
I'm assuming it's an agreement with the school.
Stan, do you know if we have a formal one ever with the town or school?
I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so I didn't
Yeah.
set this up. But
Yeah, I don't know. It's been talked about over the years.
Okay.
I don't know whether a formalized agreement exists or not.
So in my mind, Stan, there needs to be a memorandum of understanding.
I think there
right?
needs to be some kind of connection.
Right. Right. Because even if there's no legal or accounting affiliation, there's always the perception that you're raising and spending money on behalf of the school. And so this has been something that's been increasingly brought to our attention, just to bring a little more transparency. For example, quarterly financial updates. I think you were asked whether you agreed to an audit process. Is that correct?
So, David, you have to realize also this is 100% volunteer.
I completely understand.
So we are not any of us getting paid for
No,
all
I
of the work
completely
that
understand.
we do.
We're in the same
and,
position.
No, and absolutely,
what?
and I appreciate all that you do for the Westlake town, and you should appreciate too what we do for
Absolutely.
the
Oh,
school.
100%.
We are.
And
Absolutely.
the
do.
amount of work and the amount of time we put into the school and we pour into the
Right.
school.
But,
So.
but just to the point.
So we absolutely would do an audit.
Perfect.
It's just, you have to realize too, the time that would take to do an audit, to pour into an audit, is taking away from the time that we are able to commit to the school. So I'm not saying they can't do an audit. In 1 month, I will no longer be speaker, and they can do an audit. But I'm just saying, also, you're taking time away from the amount of effort that is put into these kids.
Yeah.
And please don't take these questions as we're being critical.
And absolutely,
Right,
I do not.
We're-
I
we're
am
appreciative,
happy to
right.
answer your questions, and I welcome the questions. Please.
Okay.
We're trying to find out how to help you, too.
Yes.
And what
And-
can we provide, what can we put in place with our paid staffs to help ensure that we get the best of both worlds?
Oh, please,
where
we would
ensure
love
that-
a paid employee on the Westlake
have a
Academy
school-
House of Commons,
Do
please.
you have a school representative on the HOC?
We do not.
Okay, I was just curious.
No, there is no paid employee.
Yeah,
on
so
it.
just to full transparency, the reason we're asking these questions is most of us are new. We just want to make sure the formality is around all these affiliates. Nobody gets in trouble, so we have a connection. You guys are
Absolutely.
doing a great job for the school, but we want to make sure there's an understanding with the school and that Dr. Wilson knows kind of what's going on, which clearly he does. And then the same way, just to keep everybody honest, make sure we have audited financials. So it's just a little bit of formality on HOC we need to do. So again,
And
don't
it's-
take it as being critical, but just we're trying to formalize.
I welcome the questions, and I welcome you to please open up. I mean, these conversations, I feel like need to be had. I really do feel like the school needs to be an open book. We have nothing to hide. We have so many members on the HOC that keep us in checks and balances that these ladies take their jobs very seriously. So you can rest assured that
But for your own internal purposes, how do you produce quarterly or annual reports?
yes, our treasurer does produce a
Okay.
financial statement,
Okay.
which I left in my bag over
Okay.
there. Yes,
But would
every
you-
month.
Every month? Well, but again, would you be happy to just to share even with Casey so we can have just a general understanding?
Yes, absolutely. Would you like that after the meeting? Would you like us to email you that, or
Let's
would
put
you
it up
like
on
me
the
to share that
chalkboard
right now?
No.
Yeah, after any time
Sure, just-
later this week. No rush, but
But I will say, the meeting we attended, you guys are very formal on agenda, on minutes. on going over that. That's perfect. Those are the protocols you should have in place, and you have
Yes.
in place. And
Yeah.
this is just the next step.
Yeah, and there is no there's no hidden agenda for the request. We've been going through the motions with Stan and others, and we're all just trying to tighten up some of the policy that was lacking.
Absolutely.
Some of the oversight issues.
We have attorneys and accountants and on payroll, and we want to help
Yes.
you help yourself. And so,
Yes.
whatever way we can help clean this up, because
I
money's being
appreciate
raised in the
that.
school. It's being raised in the school, and if there was ever like a cyber hack and money disappeared or some nonsense, it turned into a big deal. And so help us. Let us help you. We let you have we give you the space in the school. You raise money in the school, and then if we can figure out other ways of making sure we can help you, we're going to work on that. That's our goal.
Yes, and I mean, we absolutely appreciate that. I don't think any of the women here, but I don't think anybody would fault you at that, asking questions.
But I think
or
it's just good policy.
wanting to know what's going on.
Right, and to have a memorandum between the entities just saying, yeah, we do raise money in the name of the school. Here's our, broad mandate of what we do. I mean, your mission statement is inspiring. I mean,
Yeah.
we're 100% supportive of, what the organization does. We are literally just trying to clean up just some of the looser ends on our side, and this would just be a huge help if we sort of had a little bit more sort of communication. Just having this update alone is just fantastic, and it should give your organization better visibility as well, to show that you are.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
So-
I think ideally, if we could just take what you're already doing and share that with our finance department, or basically each of these entities, finding a way to not add to your plate, but simply share that plate and get
Yeah.
everybody more organized.
Yeah.
Rather than adding to your plate, because you guys spend thousands of hours of volunteer time already.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Yep.
So let us know how we can help you.
Do you want me to finish this, or do you want me?
Yes.
No, of course you do.
I mean, you've been here a while. You're going to be here a while, I'm sure. I don't know if you want me to go through all of the things that we do for this school.
Delighted to hear it.
Oh, okay. So we do a lot for teacher appreciation. We support our teachers at Westlake Academy, stocking the teachers' lounges. We provided a coffee truck this year, hosting back-to-school lunch, hosting a holiday party, and that's all planned by us, by the way. We are event planners, too. And we give the teachers and the staff a gift card at the beginning of the year, and that's through our budget. We have that budgeted in. Our back to school night, that's just to support our families, making sure that all of the parents, especially the new parents, because they don't know where to go or they don't know, they're new to the school, so we kind of help them and we take membership dues at that time. And David, you were asking about the membership dues. So that's our main time to ask for those dues, so we can kind of explain like all of the events that we have and things like that. So Tears and Cheers is a fun event. It's organized so new kinder parents can have a one-on-one time with teachers and staff, making them feel welcome at the school. Tears and Cheers is you're either supposed to be crying or happy that your kindergartner is going to school, basically. That's why it's called Tears and Cheers. Good. Yeah. Our new family breakfast, we invite all of the affiliates to be at this breakfast. So we'll ask the foundation, we ask the WAC, we ask all the staff to be at the new family breakfast. So the parents, especially the new parents, can really get to know all of the staff, because it is a really big deal if you're a new parent and you don't know what's going on at the school. I feel like this is a really important event. And like I was talking about before, the PYP and MYP coffee mornings, we work with administrators to tackle necessary topics. So we talked about the STAR test. We also talked, like, there's new things going on with the STAR test. So that was one of the topics that we discussed. I don't know if Sean was at that one, but we talked about different things going on. Just throughout the year. So the MYP-DP transition, that's a huge transition for parents. They don't have any idea what's going on. So we set that up. We provide coffee. We get with the administration to find the correct date that they want to, and then they provide which staff members will be at that specific event so they can talk about that. And that's so important to parents because going from PYP to MYP to DP is a huge transition for parents. And then I was talking about before, the Grandparents' Day. We do provide a breakfast, we provide the decor, but this is not our specific event. We just make sure it runs smoothly. So we make sure that grandparents are happy and that they feel welcome, because we really encourage that at our school. So Monster Mash is one of our big fundraisers. That's our Halloween-themed event. It's really fun for parents. It's really fun for students. This is also one of our big fundraisers. As you can see, the total revenue was $11,000. So our social directors work really hard to make this a great event. And I don't think I have a Bandana Bonanza slide because we just had that last weekend. So like I said, we are 100% volunteer. All of our volunteers spend countless hours to bettering Westlake Academy. We provide additional support through our new family mentor program, which connects new families to current families. Our room parent coordinator, which does all of the coordination of all the room parents through PYP, so that's K through 5. We get with staff to make sure the room parents are set up for the year, and that's how they contact the parents, and that's how they communicate with the parents. Membership Toolkit, which is our online school directory. We are the volunteer base for the school. So anytime anybody needs a volunteer, they contact me or they contact a member of the House of Commons because we are the main volunteer base at the school, essentially. We support the dogs, so we usually have a dog's breakfast. They are the wonderful dads that help the kids out of the cars in the morning. And we also set up the holiday decor in the PYP. I really just want to show you what's coming up. Bandana Bonanza, obviously, we've already had. We had it last weekend, and it was very cold, but we made it through. And Kids Rule the School is coming up in May. The PYP, we'll have more PYP and MYP coffee mornings, and those are more, like I said, the transitions from the PYP, the MYP, and the DP. Or not DP, but the PYP and the MYP. And then Spirit Shop will be open and the uniform resale shop. So in closing, I would just like to bring to your attention that we really need a permanent Spirit Shop location. This would ease the burden of our volunteers. Not only are Spirit Shop directors expected to make a profit off of apparel and things that they sell, but they were required to do all the manual labor involved in running a store. For the longevity and the future of the PTA, please understand that a permanent Spirit Shop location is necessary and really help our hardworking volunteers.
So does that get out of the trailer?
Yes, it
That
is.
standpoint.
But you ideally
Please.
want something on campus? Is that the...
Well, if you think about it, that would be the best case scenario. I mean, if somebody owned an office around here and we could use that, that would be great too. But yes, on campus would be amazing. If we could take one of those portable buildings and move it by close to the field, like where the field house is. I know you'd have to cut down a tree or two.
Okay. In all honesty, those portables are not staying in. Those.
Okay, so you're totally against the...
I'm totally against using any of those portables.
Okay.
Spending another second on campus.
Okay.
Is there another
I'm not
location?
against finding new space.
Is there another location you had your eye on that you think could be good for the shop?
So me and Sean have talked about this. And maybe there is a spot on campus that's not being utilized fully, but it really is, I'm telling you, essential to having the PTA be as efficient as it is and successful as it is. Without a permanent location, I just don't see it growing to where it could be.
And we don't disagree with you. We're just looking for a suggestion.
The thing is, you know where that tree is by the field, by the football field? There's a couple giant trees there, right? And I know you'd have to cut them down, which would be sad, but we could plant other trees, other places. But I think if you that's really the only open space on campus. That's the only open space that's available. And I think that would be a perfect space. You could literally put a portable there.
We moved your trailer over there for football season, right?
Yes, you did, I think, Kim. I think you moved it.
I didn't physically move it. I got in trouble, but it was moved. But we understand. So we kind of knew you needed this, but for you being here tonight, we know that. We will try to help you figure something out.
I mean, this has been going on for 10 years, wanting a permanent spirit shop location. It is so important. Working out of that trailer is miserable.
That's what the kids told us about the portables.
Yeah, exactly.
And it took us 10 years to
Imagine running a store out of this trailer in the summer. You know how hot it is. Well, consider being in this metal box and how hot it would be.
She worked hard. Kathy worked hard.
Very hard.
And we
Yes.
set up. I want to thank you for all the stuff you guys do. And, you look across here and how you're organized. If we can wrap up just the financial and make sure we have a memorandum of understanding. The one suggestion I would give, I think most PTAs have a representative from the school on them. I don't think, but I would ask you guys just to think about that. Maybe that makes sense. Doesn't. I just want to thank you for all you're doing and how you're organized and what you contribute to the school kids.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, couldn't sum it up better. I agree. Thank you so much for coming.
What, besides the location, anything else you need from us?
That is the big request that I have is a permanent
Location.
spirit shop location,
Okay.
yes.
All right, got it.
Yeah, we definitely hear you loud and clear, and I think it's been a priority for us for a while now as well, so we won't forget you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys for hearing us out and understanding our plea for a permanent spirit shop location, because I think it really will benefit the school long term.
Yeah, thank you for all
I
your
appreciate it.
work.
Thank you so much.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Let's go on to F4, 23-117, receive quarterly report from the Westlake Academy Athletics Club.
Good evening, Council. I'm John Davidson. I'm the current president of the Westlake Academy Athletic Club. And let's see, am I up yet? Move forward without?
Our flux capacitor.
Okay, it was likely the late submission.
No, we got it.
I can speak while they load that. I can go off of some memory, but the Westlake Academy Athletic Club was initially formed in order to provide athletics on the campus at Westlake Academy. Historically, the school was created with a vision of academics and academics alone. Within a few short years, it was realized that the children as well as the parents kind of demanded some level of athletic participation on the campus. So a group of parents got together, formulated, I can answer a question that you asked before, formulated a 501c3 that is separate from the school. We're given a letter of permission from the previous head of school 2 or 3 ago. I think Kim Graves is in possession of that document. And from that moment forward, we started collecting gate fees. We created a concession stand. We bought the appropriate refrigerators, freezers, snack making machines, etc., storage closets, in order to collect those revenues from those athletic events. Through the course of time, I don't have the timeline here, but we've continued to add sports year after year after year. We've also, I believe, done a fairly good job of continuing to allow more and more students on campus to participate in sports. We think it's important that all, and our goal is 100% of graduating students participate in some level of athletics. We're not there yet, but we certainly are over 70%. Generally speaking, your top 10 students every graduating year, the majority of those students are also athletes. We've had valedictorians the last 3 years were also athletes. Goals that we're working on right now, we've had a little bit of a change in how we operate this year. Through most of football season, with exception of the last few games, we did continue to control the gate collection as well as the concession stands. Through the athletic department, as well as through council with Councilman Graves, we no longer are supporting those functions. So there's a little bit of a, I don't know, I don't want to use the word chaos, but we're trying to sort out how we are going to carry on forward. We have so many functions that this town and this school does with the foundation and the HOC. So we're looking for roads that we might have events to hold in order to gain money specifically aimed at athletics. Historically, all of our revenue, with exception of donations and sports-specific donations, came through those gates and concessions. So a bit of a blessing and a curse in that we managed all of those gates and concessions, and you can see that it is a lot of work, especially during fall and winter sports, where we're on campus every single day, generally speaking, starting from 4 o'clock all the way through 8 o'clock at night from time to time. So that being said, we've tossed around ideas of reinvigorating the 5K that my wife and I did several years ago for my son, and perhaps that seemed to be something of interest in the community outside of the school. One of the discussions that we've had in our internal meetings plenty of times is we want to have a little bit more community engagement rather than continuing to ask parents for more and more and more. We know that these athletic expenses are expensive. When you have several kids in the school like you do, David, it adds up very quickly when they're playing multiple sports. And I've got one kid right now, and I got twins coming up, so I can appreciate the expense of all of that. So that said, our biggest function right now that's in front of us is our end-of-year all-athletics banquet. We host that every year, not necessarily a fundraising event. It's continued to get more and more expensive, and we're trying to figure out ways to make that cheaper. Last year was a beautiful event. We had it in Keller. It was fantastic. It was quite expensive. We ended up losing a fair amount of money on that. So we're going back to what we've done historically and taking it back to White's Chapel so that we can control costs. We want grandparents to come. We want everyone to see their child, especially the seniors and varsity level athletes, to have families to be able to come. And charging people $50 a head is challenging. I think in general, without my notes, you got it? Oh, the slides. Sorry, I missed it.
So, hey, John, just for clarification, right? So we met September 21st. You, Gary Ponder, and I.
Yes.
And at that time, you wanted to be more of a fundraiser organization.
Yes.
Then I think the quote was, you're kind of done selling M&Ms.
Well, you know, the struggle is that as the years went on, we began, instead of coordinating parent volunteers, we began doing it more and more.
Yeah.
And especially during the COVID-19 situation, we were the only ones allowed to do it.
Yeah.
We were cleaning balls, we were, selling tickets because we could only get 15 family members per event for basketball games. So the spirit of volunteering or having parents volunteer at that concession stand kind of fell by the wayside, and the culture definitely shifted, and it hasn't shifted back to this day, as you can well see.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a bit of a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
That was our source of revenue primarily, except for donations for several board members, sport-specific donations that we've received a fair amount. We received a very large one last year, as you can see from the presentation. But it's forced us to look at who we are and who we want to be. Our budget was quite small historically, and I'd like it to be significantly larger. I know that you guys are strained as a town to continue to fund the school as a whole. Definitely that's the priority, but we do feel strongly, and I think that most of the parents at the school feel strongly, that athletics are very important in the all-around academic education.
Yeah, and so what, in a given year, what do you typically contribute to? When you raise funds, where does it usually go? Is there a continuous support of athletics generally, or is it one-off items that you identify in advance?
So we've never actually identified anything. Historically, it's come directly from the athletic director. In every meeting, they would bring I have a list here of historically what we've done. You guys can pass this around if you
Sure.
So from our secretary's notes, those are items that we've previously voted on and approved throughout the course of the last, I think that's 4 years. That said, we've had larger donations prior to that. I think we contributed $25,000 to the buses that were held at one of the gallery nights.
Okay.
So one of the questions you asked the HOC is, we generally try to carry money over for larger things because our budget is so tiny. We might raise through the gates $10,000 a year, concessions. People like me, other board members, as well as sport-specific donations might take that number to $15,000 a year. And that's our total all-in budget. And if you look at what we did this year, we've spent $15,000 in the fall sports. So that was our budget
So the
for the year.
lights, for example, was something that the WAC paid for.
What's that?
For the lights during football season?
We did it. We were asked by the athletic director to provide those lights, and we approved that, yes.
Okay. So you mentioned that, the vision is possibly changing, and, some of it's just a reality because as the school is developed, obviously athletics has become more intertwined than it probably was historically. We just last year approved additional stipends to support, coaching staff to continue and develop the sports programs on campus. Where do you think the athletic club would continue to fit in on campus? What do you see as the vision going forward from here?
Well, right now, I still think athletics are still underfunded. And as much as it was certainly appreciated by the coaches, they needed that pay raise. They needed it 10 years ago, to be honest with you. And we're still not quite to where the surrounding districts are. However, we still have ongoing needs, and I'm not sure where that falls in the town's budget. Kim, perhaps you probably know. One of the things that we did was provide balls, bats. You can see on that list numerous items throughout the course of the year. The new standards, which were quite expensive for volleyball, that stuff all needs to be continually budgeted for because they only last a certain number of years.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have a source to get that money, where I went to, I don't know how many basketball games this year, but there was no concession and there was no gate. It's really challenging to get parents that are there to watch their child play a sport to volunteer. So it ends up being the same 3 people all year long.
Right, okay. Same question that we asked the HOC. Who keeps the books and records for the
We
WAC?
also have a treasurer, and we have an outside bookkeeper that's a former member of our board.
So both people keep a copy of the books?
Yes.
Okay. And do you produce quarterly updates to the town?
We do not produce them to the town. We are independent. We've always been
Understood.
independent. It wasn't, again, I heard the HOC, we didn't set it up that way. I came here in 2017,
Yeah.
so I'm carrying
Yeah,
forward.
no, it's, as I said, this has been an ongoing discussion about how do we properly handle affiliates that are loosely related to the school or town. Because, even with the perception, even in the name of the club, there's an assumption that the monies are being raised and handled by Westlake Academy, and we know the reality is that's not strictly true. We also know that the school has the capability and the power to collect cash concessions themselves, and so to outsource it to an independent club, I think there's a general expectation that the town at least has some oversight in terms of what is being raised by parents and where is that money being expended. And I think to the mayor's point, when we talked with the HOC, I think with improved transparency and communication, we can equally try and help the WAC as much as, us trying to get a little bit more understanding of what's happening. And I think it would be beneficial, again, if you would be willing to share updates with Casey on the finances, just so we are aware of what is being raised. Because if we're making these promises to parents that, there's going to be a commitment of capital, the perception is that there's an involvement by the school, and the reality is there's no control by the school over how monies are being expended or what's being promised or said by an independent club. And I think these are just the areas we're trying to tighten up. And I think to see the letter of permission would be helpful as well, because it may be a good time to just update these MOUs. And it would also help probably better define your vision if you feel there's been areas which worked better historically but are not working so well now. This would be a perfect time, for the WAC to sort of decide what does it want to be and how does it best want to support the school. Because I think all of us would agree with you. The athletics is very important. Most of my kids are involved in athletics on campus. Several board members have children involved, and I know Kim donates a lot of his time on the coaching side. So we're all on the same page. It's all about how do we better campus athletics and make the experience for the kids and staff as good as it can be. So I feel like there's a lot to play for here. But I think it would help if there was better communication and a sort of common understanding of what the goals were, and I would imagine improve the efficiency of this process.
Sure. So at this point, I don't know how much affiliation we directly have with the school. We're no longer collecting monies on campus. Any revenue that we've received since the end of football season has come directly from donations, likely from board members. And honestly, take no offense, but there's been turnover amongst the council many, many times during the course of the creation of the Westlake Academy Athletic Club. There's been strife, there's been friction between the WAC and the council, etc. And so maintaining some level of independence has always been important, because while y'all have turned over, not you personally, the WAC has to carry forward a mission, no matter who is sitting behind there. So that's why we've maintained that. I have no problem sharing our budget with you. It's quite small. It was asked of us to audit our books, and unfortunately, it's so small to be charged $3,000 to audit a $15,000 annual budget seemed a little bit.
John, we said we were going to pay for that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
but would you want to spend taxpayer dollars, spending $3,000 on a $15,000 budget? It didn't seem
What's in your bank
feasible.
account right now? What's your total account?
In our bank? I can look it up for you.
Yeah.
I mean, your operating budget may be $15,000, but there's been a larger gifts that have gone through there.
Sure.
So the actual monies is way more than that.
Sure. Historically, it's been quite low. We did have a substantial donation last year.
Yeah, and so
John, look, I think we're saying this. I think the questions, Debbie, you're asking, that memorandum of understanding, just like we said, we just need to update that. That thing's a
We've
few
got the
years old.
attorneys, we've got the accountants. Let us help you.
Yeah,
Right. Sure.
It keeps us, everybody, in the right place.
So one of the questions that I would have is how can we, this organization was created to help the school form athletics, and we're at a place right now, I think that this council understands the importance of it. Y'all have budgeted effectively for it. What do you need from us moving forward is probably a more appropriate question.
Probably better communication, because we should align our interests so there's no overlap or inefficiencies. Because if you're trying to achieve a certain goal with athletics and we're not aware of it, we can't help. But we also know we have the power to control the budget in the town, and we're coming up to that in the next couple of months. And when Kim came last year, his view was, well, we wanted to make a gesture towards the stipends to help promote more involvement on the staffing side and so those are things we can do. But it would seem to me, at least, that if we were working together, then there'd be a better sort of communal vision that we can help each other. And so if you're going to go, down the left flank, we'll go down the right, and we'll, meet wherever we need to meet. But otherwise, at least from my perspective, I would have no idea what the mission of the WAC was, or what its targets were, what its fundraising efforts were going to be. But I just know from a perception standpoint, there's always going to be an assumption that the Westlake Academy is directly involved or has some control over this. It's just the reality. And so we want to take away some of those liabilities. And it's probably good for you also from a liability perspective, just so if there is miscommunication about where funds are actually going after they've been raised, or if there's a cash mishandling on campus, I don't think those are things you want to have to deal with. And those are really the only reasons we have started having these discussions about the affiliates generally. It's not, as you know, it's not the athletic club. We're dealing with the foundation, with the HOC, the Texas Housing Association. We're going through every single affiliate and asking these same questions. Do we have the right MOUs in place between the entities? Are we fully aligned in our interests? Can we help them? Can they help us? And so this has just been a sort of an exercise that we've started over the past few months. But I think, like I said before, even hearing you speak today is just, it's very helpful because, it really does help people understand what that mission is and what direction the WAC is going. And I think that's all very, very positive.
And, just to dovetail on what David's saying, beyond just the formalities and the collaboration for oversight, I think you guys are under a stage of evolution. And as you know, our board and our school is under quite a bit of evolution this year as well, and the next few years. So I think all of us here on the board are very supportive of athletics at Westlake Academy. So I think that if we would co-develop how you evolve together, we could actually do much more and reach more students together.
I agree. What's the first step? Because that generally is where things kind of get locked up.
I think right now we haven't put a lot of thought into how we would grow the budget for athletics. That hasn't been a topic of conversation yet. But if we could meet separately, perhaps with a subcommittee or something, we could talk about what your vision is, and we could try to mirror that and synergize with that.
Yeah, because your insight to athletics is tremendously valuable. Mm-hmm. And, as we do approach budget season, we are going to start with, a blank piece of paper in terms of where our funds going to be directed. If you came with the target list of here are the areas we really think money should be most effectively spent on athletics, there could be a division of interest there where we say, look, we'll take on all these things. Why don't you go fundraise for those things? And then we're working in full alignment.
That's what we've done in the past. I like that
so
idea.
That's what we should do, for sure.
Well, you've done that in the past with prior council?
Not with the council. We, as a group, identified with the athletic director, hey, we would like to start a tennis program. And so what would we do? We would either pay for that first year of stipend for the coach and all the equipment necessary, or supply a coach, one of the parents, which is certainly what we've done in the past, and move forward. It has never involved council.
Yeah. Do they play in the parking lot or something?
John, thanks for being here. But
Sure.
Something I learned, we had to do some continuing education, which is, I feel sorry for any teacher or administrator that has to do it, being locked in a room. But But we're apparently the only town in Texas where we're the council and the school board. And I don't think everyone realizes that we have both these roles. So it might seem to some that we're overstepping our bounds asking this, but we're actually the school board too.
No, I
So
totally
that's,
understand.
so I just want, I don't think everyone knows that. And I think a lot of y'all do, but I mean, it's rare. We're the only town or city in the state of Texas.
None of the questions were inappropriate, by the way, so fire away.
Yeah.
Not contention.
Yeah.
So, John, I'm going to get back to and I guess I have some right. I've spent a lot of time in the last 2 years with athletics. I appreciate all that you guys have done, and I appreciate the history. There is a gap. If you're going to be a fundraiser, the school has a huge gap on getting parent volunteers to fund these things. Not to fund them, but to do the work. So a true booster club type organization, now whether the WAC was supposed to be that or not, that's a glaring thing that we need. And we have to figure that out. So as you guys figure out in WAC what you want to do, and from our September meeting, you want to do fundraising. If that's the case, we got to figure out a true booster club that's not a fundraiser, that is literally to support the coaches and kids and to get parents to get in and help us volunteer.
I couldn't agree more. We've obviously had this conversation in our meetings in the past. It's totally necessary. It's also quite challenging because whether it's HOC or Foundation or anybody else, you generally have a small group of people that are willing to help out. And because of the nature of athletics on the campus, they happen every single day and they require volunteers every single day.
Well, we got our arms around it. I mean, I feel very good. I know exactly what it takes to put on a football game now.
Yeah.
I know what it does to put on track meets. Basketball was very iffy this year. I felt terrible for the coaching staff, like they were scrambling to get people. But I think there is a way to put an organization together to focus on that parent participation. I think there's also, we need to be a little more forceful with our parents. If their kids are playing high school, they might need to volunteer for junior high or vice versa.
If there's a policy in place, we've asked, and this might be jumping topics a little bit, what you don't see on that sheet is in the past, we have offered some scholarship to some athletes. Those parents generally were asked by the athletic director, hey, we're going to get this financially covered through the WAC, but if you could volunteer your time, that was immensely helpful. We never know who those people were.
Right.
That was between the athletic director and the families, which was perfect.
And that actually worked this year as well.
Perfect.
Thank you, Gary.
Hey, sorry, I'm speaking as a citizen because I'm not on the council yet, so I just thought I'd comment on I'm observing, and I've been very involved with the programs as well as a coach and donor, et cetera, but with something that's such a major asset to the school, such as athletics, it seems really odd to me just observing that we have an independent, sort of like affiliated group of people that are having to be responsible for delivering this, service to the students and to the parents and the families of the community. To have to do all the volunteer work, have to do all the fundraising, it just seems highly inefficient. And I just pose this as a question, like who should own and who should be accountable for maximizing, the athletic opportunities through Westlake? Because what I'm observing right now is that the way this is set up, we are can't possibly be maximizing. And I would think that our budget, we should be able to find, for one, who should submit a fully exhaustive, this is what we really want for athletics at Westlake Academy. Here's what it's going to cost. When does that get debated? And, who's responsible for delivering that? I guess those are my questions.
Yeah.
So let me take a stab at that. One, I think it is Dr. Wilson and Gary Ponder, the athletic director. Right? I view these things as we are here. What I try to do, I'm here to help y'all. I'm here to help the coaches. And I think just over time, whether we've gotten away from that, I think there are better ways to do that. And I'm sorry for repeating myself, My focus right now is to get more parent involvement. You're going to do fundraising, that's but like we're on the ground with the coaches. We need help. We need help for our kids and stuff. Put on these events and all that. We also need the financial side. So I think there's a way that we can figure this out. If you're going to go into fundraising, that we can do the volunteer side.
So I'm the president. That's my vision. That's not necessarily the vision of the board.
Okay.
FYI.
Well, we need to work that out. But
Yeah.
to answer, Vic, to answer your question, and what I feel bad is all this. It sounds like we're being critical, and we're not being critical. Like we're first year on board, we're trying to figure this out. How do we help? How do we help Dr. Wilson? How do we help the athletic director? And as we've learned these things, how do we just take what we have now and make things better? So I think we just have to have those discussions and just an open forum. But I try to be very careful, even though I'm a board member, not to tell Dr. Wilson or Gary Ponder how to run their deal. I'm here to help them, to serve them.
Yeah, and to echo what Kim is saying, I think that we've had a huge shift in the last 15 years at the school there with athletics, starting with 0 sports to the vast, vast majority of our students and our families participating in sports. I know that when my kid who's graduating this year came as a 3rd grader, one of I'd say his biggest attraction to come here was he could play sports every season. And that was what I used to get him to come here. But I think as board members, we do have to take the lead of the school. And I think there's definitely a will there at the school. And so as you work through those channels and through the athletic director and Dr. Wilson, we can come together then as school and the board to make some fundamental shifts potentially over the next year.
That would be helpful. You know, one of the things that kind of got our dauber down a little bit was to see some of them condensing or not. The PYP athletics, we were making a lot of progress in getting those going, and those seem to be falling by the wayside. Not sure if that's an opinion or if that's a budgetary issue, but just know that our mission is for all the kids to play sports and as early as we can. I think it's super important to our community, not just the school, to see these kids playing, even if it's in the South Lake League in a Westlake jersey.
I don't disagree. Look, we have, last count, we have 70% of our kids athletics. Westlake have, I don't know what the percentage of multiple sports. The national average on sports is like 50%, but I'm proud of those kids. And we've had a great athletic season. Junior high football won their championship. We got 2nd in state in high school. Baseball team just got 2nd in state. Our girls basketball team, I mean, like with everything going on and us trying to figure out this evolution, I'm really proud of our athletic program and where our kids are. And we got state track meet.
Right, and to your question, John, I believe it really is fundamental logistics and budget right now. We would love to see sports going down to kindergarten even, but we have to take steps gradually to get there.
Yeah.
Sure. I'd like to understand that at some point. I initially joined this board because I was passionate about bringing wrestling to this school. It's been a challenge finding space, time, and money in spite of
Parking lot.
Exactly.
me volunteering to coach.
Exactly. The logistics are very difficult right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So know that.
Sure.
My son wants to wrestle. Perfect. Let's get it set up.
So, do you guys, are your meetings public? Can anyone attend your meetings?
Our members can attend, and then our banquet is our public meeting for the year.
Okay.
Yep. And there was a question asked of the HOC. Historically, we had members. Members were they would purchase a membership that garnered them access to all of the athletic events. You could single, family, etc. And so that's yet another item that we're trying to figure out how that fits in, because that was a substantial donation to us. In turn, they got a small benefit. And so we're no longer going to have those. Not sure if y'all intend to do that, but there's a whole lot of budgetary issues that probably fell through the cracks during the course of the transition.
Look, I think, one, we appreciate your time, and again, thanks for all you guys. I think we need to have some meetings outside here with the athletic director. Let's figure out what you guys are going to do going forward, if it's fundraising. Because we have to figure out, and I'm going to take this burden on just to get the parent volunteers, right? And put a lot of formality around that. I'd also ask if you can share your quarterly financials that David asked, and then let's just make sure that memorandum of understanding is updated. So all that stuff's tied up,
Sure.
just formality, just like we asked.
I think,
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, the town can write it, and then we can,
Yeah.
so the burden's not on them.
And then we got all the,
And then finally, I think you guys asked for what the bank balance was. I never heard that number.
Yep, I've had it up here a second ago.
Thank you.
Right now, we have $49,000 of directed donations. So those could be from anything from baseball, cheer, football, Forge Elite, which is our distance running program, golf, cross country, volleyball, etc. All of those categorically have some level of money in them. And $46,000 in our operating account. Generally, we have a $15,000 reserve. So $15,000 is kind of our 1 year. Got close to needing that during COVID because we weren't raising very much money.
Thank you for sharing.
Welcome.
thanks, John.
So, any more questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for your service. All right, let's move on to the next item here. Let's go on. Do you guys need a break or anything, anyone? No? The planning and zoning updates and the finance report, that will take some time. We'll do planning and zoning quickly. Okay, we'll do F2, 23-112, and then we'll do a break after that. So we'll do planning and zoning commission. Come on up.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is just a brief update of the report that you have in your packet. And I'll just go around town real quick, some of the projects we have going on, and then Mike Beatty is here to kind of go through what's going on with Entrada. So I'll turn it over to Mike here once I'm done with my quick update. So Deloitte, the groundbreaking, scheduled to start this week. What they're actually going to do is start mobilizing out there, putting up erosion control fencing around the site, moving construction offices on the site, and just basically moving towards actual groundbreaking on the site. We have not done a pre-construction meeting yet with them, so that'll probably be next week after this, if not the end of this week. So they'll start actual groundbreaking in the next couple of weeks and begin construction on the site. They'll be coming in with their site plan to Planning and Zoning Commission and Council in June for P&Z, and then August for Town Council. Moving over to the Villaggio development, that's the southwest corner of Pearson and Dove Road, you may recall. They have submitted their preliminary site evaluation, which is kind of the preliminary plat for the development that's going to be moving through in May.
Is there a next slide? Can you hit the slide for the map so people can see it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Maps may be a little bit hard to read, but
No.
the rest of this is just tables. But anyway, the Villaggio is, again, at the southwest corner of Dove and Pearson. Westlake Ranch is also about ready. We've issued 2 permits in there, but the finishing touches are being put on that development, so they're going to start getting more permits issued here in the next few months. And also Aspen Estates, which is the little 3-lot development next door to Westlake Ranch, is getting close to getting their plat recorded and ready for building permits there as well. All told, that's 36 lots in between the 2 developments that'll be ready for permits. And Dutch Brothers, they got their approvals. They've got their permits ready to go. They're reviewed. We're moving their final plat through, and that'll start construction here pretty soon as well. The only other thing I'll note is on our residential developments, Granada is just about a build-out. Vaquero is mostly built out. Well, Hollow is over 50% built out in terms of permits issued. The Knolls as well. So we're reaching a point on some of our more established developments where we're getting kind of over the hump. And the permits tend to trickle and go a little slower on those developments when you reach the end, because some people buy lots and just sit on them or want to have the lot next to them vacant. Plus, probably the more attractive lots are bought and permitted earlier in the developments, and so the less attractive lots take a little longer to move and sell in those developments, especially given the type of product that gets built on these lots. So that leaves our lot counts slowly going downward, and so our permit issuances year to date are a little slow, mainly because of Entrada. We just haven't issued any permits in Entrada since the fiscal year flipped on October 1st. So With that, I'll segue over to Mike Beatty. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
We have to reach out to the Makis family and just say our condolences.
Oh, yes,
The town
yes.
to do it. So the developer from Bellagio, the father died.
Yes, our condolences to the Makis family. Koss was a developer in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for a long time and home builder, and he'll be missed.
Appreciate it. Come on down, Mike.
Thanks.
Hello, good evening. Michael Beatty, 4110 Riverwalk Drive. Probably the most important news I would have tonight is Jimmy Niwa signed his lease Friday. You will have Sushi Zo and Niwa Capo coming to the same building that Hugo's is in, restaurant BCD. Hugo's has had one meeting, I believe, so far with town staff on their plans. They want to change some of the outside of the building, and that hopefully will just be a staff review and approval, but their change is really just the glass in the back colonnade. So if you walk by on the water side where they have the arches, they just want to glass that in and make it air conditioned. Have additional seating space.
Hey, Mike, just a question. Hugo's, tell me what kind of I've been hearing some rumors. Tell me what kind of restaurant that's going to be. Is it going to be like the restaurant in Las Colinas?
Yes, exactly. Hugo's,
Full service?
Sorry, yes, Hugo's Invitados.
Okay, yeah, I know it well, but I heard a rumor it's more of a catering deal, but it's a full big seat restaurant.
They're 9,100 square feet.
Perfect.
And Mike, Sushi Zo is Beverly Hills and Manhattan and now here?
Yes.
Okay. And then I think you mentioned another one.
No, Niwa Capo.
Yes.
He's doing Sushi Zo and his Japanese steakhouse in the 6,000 square feet. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's the initial floor plan layout, but they have color renderings. We could switch this one on the back of the building.
Oh.
That's Invitados, Hugo's Invitados. Mark Holm is the owner.
What do we think the opening date is? Not to hold you to it.
No, it's, I would say probably 6 months. They want to finish their plans, and then nobody wants to open during the summer. Like the Bearden Brothers, I've been pushing them on the Jolies in Building A, and we're probably going to have to cut a deal where I help fund some operating losses if they open the wrong time of the year. And then I'm hoping Jimmy will catch up to Hugo's.
And the one that's making the most progress, is that Hugo's or Dahlia?
That is Dahlia's.
Dahlia,
They
okay,
want
so I
to
thought-
change the name from Dahlia's to Jolie, the Bearden Brothers, and it'll be French American with the Speakeasy Bar. And I've got their roof RTUs are on order, but I've got the hoods came in, and I get to start installing those next.
It kind of stalled out for the last couple of weeks there.
Yes, it did.
I mean, it looks like there's a strike.
No, not a strike.
I'm just
pushing to get it done.
how's the access for 114 on to Entrada?
Still waiting on Pennington's final number. They'll be the contractor, and they'll be released as soon as I get a final number. They wanted to review the retaining wall design, and they wouldn't consider it official until the engineer stamped it. We have to build a retaining wall right at the ends of the lake in that corner, and then it turns and goes east, the new road that will make like a slip road connection. But as soon as I can get a number, I'll sign it, and they're released.
Okay. And then where are we at with the PID bonds?
Oh, we started making the payments last week, and they'll be wrapped up in 2 weeks. I'm making it through sales this time instead of borrowing money to pay back borrowed money.
Okay. And so the town had post notice on that for that stuff. I think
Yes,
we
sir.
just did another notice, Casey, in the quarterly report too.
Yes, sir.
So,
Mr. Mayor, we had to dip into the reserves to make payment.
yeah, what was the dip? 1.2 million?
Bondholders.
I don't know the DIP number. I'm sorry.
Okay, and then when the payment is made, do the reserves get replenished?
It goes back.
How does they do?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I don't know.
That I do know.
On the mechanics.
Okay.
Oh, and we submitted PD site plans for Phase 2 and Phase 3 through staff. Initial staff comments were additional landscaping in the parking lot behind us, and then I'm still waiting for a decision from Mr. Bernay. I reach out to their broker every couple of days, and I've even offered, like, if I'm the problem or there's a concern, I will sell them the pad site now, and they have a partner in their business that lives here in the town of Westlake.
Yes.
He can buy it, he can build it, that would be great. Whatever I got to do to get them here.
Mike, sorry to go backwards, but since literally our town is restaurant starved, pun intended, is it Bistro Jolie from Beverly Hills? Is that what's coming here, or are they just going to name the restaurant Jolie?
They just named it Jolie.
Okay,
It'll be
just
French
checking.
American. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
But the sushi is the Beverly Hills one.
Perfect. Thank you for the clarification.
And when do you think they'll open?
Sushi, if it pushes as hard as he said he's going to push, it would be year end.
Wow.
Everybody wants to open like early holidays so they get that book of business before it drops off in January. Nobody wants to open in July and August.
Mayor, or maybe, Vic's here from Planning and Zoning. Is there a report on the activities like on Entrada, what leases have been signed? Is there kind of a status report on this stuff, what restaurants are coming? I've not seen and I don't know that I expect. It seems like we do that internally.
We have some internal stuff, but Mike, do you have a complete document you can send us for all your leases?
Yes.
Oh, it's
Yeah, just kind of what's in place, and so when we get asked, there's a lot of activity going. Thank you.
Trying.
But just we know exactly what leases have been signed, what restaurants are coming in, kind of the due dates, just kind of a cheat sheet on that development.
And make sure that the restaurants have a year, not just a month. Sorry.
Have a what?
A year associated with November 2025. I'm just kidding.
No, please don't say that. They need to be open.
All right. So are there any issues? Now, you talked about widening some of the streets.
We submitted for that. It was just a question of concrete versus pavers over the duck bank box.
Ron, did you get the submission for it?
Yeah.
Okay. And when do you anticipate fixing that, some of the streets?
As soon as we're released to go do it.
Okay.
I didn't know if it had to go back through the new civil engineer or not.
Sure.
But we'll fix them as soon as we can. Just like the retail. We took the wall down.
Yeah. No, I understand that. Thank you. You spared me about 5 accidents. Is there anything else you need to tell us? Anything we can help you with to move things along?
No, sir. We're updating our signage request to Ron and staff as far as the big pylon sign. And then I met with Mr. Seitz, Eric Seitz. He's helping me with the retail. Golly, sorry. The retail.
That was a $20,000 mic.
Okay. I have an escrow account at town. Just right there. No.
They'll be able to lay away too.
Yeah.
Mike, one other question. The CoreLogic property that we swapped around, so it's residential.
Yes,
right
sir.
on Salon. I heard that 100% of those lots are sold.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
100%.
And was it 40 lots, 38?
52.
52. Thank you.
All pre-sold. It's 7 or 8 different builders. A couple of individuals have already picked out the lot, like I want that lot, and they're buying it. But yes, sir.
With
Very short
Ron telling us that new builds are slowing down a little bit, that's good news. So thank you very much.
Thank you. On the Phase 2 site plan, the commercial, Mr. Seitz's recommendation, and hopefully this will be well received, we're not trying to do the pad sites out front anymore. He said you do another inline building out there, do another monument at the east end. So that's another draw coming. You'll see that first coming from the east to the west. So that'll be an update that you'll see on the Phase 2 plan.
Any questions?
I just want to thank you again for helping us out on prom. I heard it was John talked about it earlier, but thank you so much for your contribution there. Cool.
Is there any questions? Vic, do you have any questions for head of P&Z?
Covered, so.
Okay. All right, that's all I got here.
Yeah, thanks,
Mike.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, let's take a quick 10-minute break, and then we'll get back to work here.